Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about me going back to the TCG, playing the TCG once again. You might have seen the video when we had the announcement of the Fuvalos being a secret rare, where I made a video about how basically unhappy I am with the current state of Yugioh, especially with the price policy, and that I am going to quit. And that is exactly what I did. I sold basically all my stuff, or the most valuable stuff, obviously, and then yeah, I stopped playing the TCG. And this is something that you don't really know. I'm super interested in your opinion on this matter, whether you think that it is better right now. I will make an argument for this in a second here, or whether you think it's still very bad, and whether you only play Master Duel, whether you also play TCG, and how your opinion is on that matter. Let me know in the comments. I'm very interested. And in the meantime, I was actually playing the Pokemon TCG and obviously Master Duel, and I have to say that the Pokemon TCG is quite fun. I don't know if any of you have also played this. Let me know in the comments below. And from a price perspective, it's just a crazy TCG, right? I bought 3 meta decks, like the Charizard X deck, as well as Goldengo X and Gardevoir X, for 110 euros, all of the decks. And these are top meta decks. And this is totally crazy in terms of how expensive the TCG is. It's just not comparable at all. Then again, this is a really fun TCG, Pokemon that is, but I have to say that I got a bit bored after a while, since the game mechanic, how the game plays, is just a bit more simpler than Yu-Gi-Oh! It was the same with Magic. I tried out Magic a while ago and also had the feeling that after around about a month, I basically understood all the basics of the game. I don't want to say like, oh, I was the biggest expert, I'm like a pro. This obviously needs way more time, but after a month I had the impression in the Pokemon TCG as well as in Magic that I have learned everything basically, and then it became a bit boring. And with Yu-Gi-Oh! I never have this. I never have this feeling that I've learned everything. There's always something that I learn once again when I play the game, because it's just so complicated. And that's honestly what I really like about this, what it makes really fun for me. But why am I back now, and what does it actually mean? I am back in the TCG. I have once again bought a new deck. I have bought Malice because I actually like both of the new decks, and we'll talk about this in a second. Raziel as well as Malice. Raziel being probably the better one, I guess, a bit better than Malice is, but I tried Raziel and it's a cool deck, but Raziel is more like Sword Sword. You always make the same play. You go into your Duo Drive and then into your Detonator, and that's basically it. And Malice is a really complicated, a very cool combo deck, and the first deck I actually played when playing the TCG in real life was Mathmax, so a Cybers deck, so that fits. But what I really want to talk about is the development that I think is super positive here when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, and I hope it will continue like this. So the first thing that basically picked me up again was this announcement for the Quarter Century Stampede first card reveals. And Quarter Century Stampede is just another Quarter Century set where you will have all of these cards that you can see right here, and obviously way more. There are around about 200 cards in this set here, but all of them will be available in different rarities. If you're not familiar with the TCG, maybe only Master Duel, normally a card like Mulch Army Fuvalos, it's only a secret rare, and the price point was at 100 euros. But now with this announcement here, you basically get all of the cards in the set available in the super rare, ultra rare, secret rare, and then I think 3 more rarities or 4 more rarities. So you can get every card in every rarity, which is kind of like in the Pokemon TCG actually, not quite the same, but in the Pokemon TCG you have these full art cards, which are really beautiful, and they are worth way more. And then you have the basic cards, which people are going to use the basic cards for play, and then you have the collectors who use these full arts just because they want to collect them, and they are really nice from an artwork perspective. So it's kind of like this, even though having a full art card is way cooler than just having a card as a secret rare instead of a super rare. There's just a bit more glitter, I guess. But this is not the point. The point is that we get the reprint of Mulch Army Fuvalos in April, and this is crazy. This pack is or will come out in April. I'm not quite sure. They don't talk about the release date here, or do they talk about the release date here in the text? I'm not quite sure, but April is when this pack will come out, and this is the direction that I'm really happy with. This was my breaking point, honestly. The Mulch Army Fuvalos, I was like, okay, let's see whether this will be a secret rare or maybe a common, maybe a super rare. Will they make this available to basically all players, or will they put this behind a price gate? And they put this behind a price gate, and I was super unhappy with this, and I was like, okay, I'm also not super happy with the current format, and I don't want to wait a year until I can grab the Mulch Mulch Army Fuvalos, because normally this is what normally happens. Normally you get the reprints of the cards that came from the year before in the next year. So normally we would have needed to wait until the next tin, basically, until the next mega tin, which normally comes around September and October, to get all of the cards from the last year. And then it's not even guaranteed that they are very cheap. So with this year's tin, we had the problem that, for example, an SP Little Knight, which was at 100 or 90 euros before, was still at 50 because it was so rare. They have solved this problem now, since the SP Little Knight is now also as a super rare, available as a super rare, because she was also reprinted in one of those sets here, the quarter century sets. And I really like this because we are already getting this in April, so it's only a half year of this card being out when we get the reprint. And obviously there are still way more cards to be announced here, so we might also see cards like the Dominus Impulse, also very expensive, the other Mulch Army, the Porulia, Impulse being at 50, Porulia being at around about 50, and maybe they will also get a reprint, and I would definitely love this. This might be an indication that Konami, with its print policy, wants to move in a different direction, make the game more affordable. I hope so, right? But then again, this is also a pack or a set where you could basically vote survey results, basically. So you could vote for cards that you wanted to have included in here, and obviously a lot of people voted for the Fuvalos. But in the text, they also say that they wanted to reprint the Fuvalos anyway, so not really in combination with these surveys. So even if the people would not have voted for the Fuvalos, which they did, they at least they say that they wanted to reprint this anyway. So a really nice direction, a really nice development, and I was like, okay, I will come back into the game in April when I can get my Fuvaloses as a super rare, which will probably then be around, I don't know, 8 euros, 10 euros per copy. I don't know, it's okay then. But then something else happened which brought me back sooner. So here we have, and there's two things basically. We have this Forbidden Limit list, which I don't want to talk about any further, but what the Forbidden Limit list basically did, because it hit Tenpai Dragon Chandra to 1, Kaiman to 1, and then the Jubel, Phantom of Jubel to 1, and then forbid original Sinful Spoils, is bring upon us this new meta. What you can see right here is TCG top decks from December 2nd until the 8th, which includes YCS Anaheim, a really big tournament. And we can see we also have the release of the new archetypes Ryziel and Malice, the top two represented ones being the Ryziel at basically 1 quarter here, and then we have Malice, we have Fiendspiff. There's also a bit of Temper Dragon, because here the hits were not yet released, I think, the new Bandist hits, and then we have Jubel, Snake Eye. So this is a kind of a bit inflated. You will see these numbers going down, the Temper, Jubel, and Snake Eyes numbers, since this ban list was not completely into effect at this point here, but this is the data that we have. But yeah, we have this new release. Some people just call it this a rotation, since all of the old decks basically were murdered, and now we have the new decks with Ryziel, Malice, and Fiendsmith also still there, very strong in a pure version, but also incorporated within Ryziel or Malice, the Fiendsmith engine that we will probably get in January. If you have not seen the leak video for the new leaks concerning the January pack and also the Fiendsmith cards, go check that out in the top right corner. I have posted this yesterday. But yeah, this is the new format. It feels fresh. I really love both of the decks, Ryziel and Malice. It's really cool meta. I really enjoyed watching YCS Anaheim, and I was like, okay, with the Fuvalos coming in April and the new decks that I really enjoy, I might come back. And yeah, then I just watched even more stuff, even more Ryziel gameplay, even more Malice gameplay, and I was like, I don't know. I also have I'm not quite sure if you know this, guys, but I also have a team in real life which we are going to tournaments quite regularly, and yeah, we all basically invested in the new format. Also, another thing that I want to mention here is that the development in the OCG, which is always a bit in front of us, is also very positive. You can see right here Ryziel being the best deck, but not by too much. We have Malice here being the second one, and then also Blue Eyes coming to us, I think, in February. Will be playable in February, since we also get the new set in January. But yeah, you can see right here we also have Blue Eyes as a new deck, so a really fresh, a really new meta, the new year coming. And yeah, I think in hindsight, or looking back at the year of fire, as they call it, the Snake Eyes year, it was cool in the beginning, I have to say. I also really like the Snake Eyes cards, and we in Master Rule will also see them again when we get the Fiendsmith stuff, unfortunately, I guess. But yeah, I'm really happy that this year is over. over, that this is the old meta and now we have this new meta. Obviously also after a while you will get a bit bored of the new meta, this is to be expected. But yeah, the new year is here, the rotation basically is here, and we also have this seemingly new reprint policy, question mark. This will remain to be seen whether this will continue like this or whether this is only for the next year, because they already said that these quarter century cards, they will only do, I think they said this, that they will only want to do this in 2024, sorry, but they already continuing it in 2025. So maybe we will just keep this. Maybe they've looked at Pokemon, for example, and have understood that they need to change something, because people were definitely leaving. You can see this in the attendance numbers of some bigger events. I saw this in my local community, where we always have the Saturday tournament and then the Monday tournament, and the Monday tournament was pretty empty already, but the Saturday tournament was quite full. But in the worst moment, basically, with the Fuva loss being there and the Snake Eye stuff and no reprint announcement, and we didn't have the new decks here. We really had a lot of tournaments on Saturday where there were not a lot of people, and we have 24 spots to be filled, and there were only like 5 or 10, which was crazy. So I think that Konami definitely received the message, maybe to some extent, but this will be shown in the future whether we will continue this trend of reprinting very good, very expensive cards a bit sooner. We will see how this works, but I'm very happy I'm back in the game. Also the TCG game, obviously still in Master Duel. I'm very high for my Melis cards. I've playing this deck quite extensively to learn it, obviously, and go to tournaments. We have the first tournament scheduled for the 4th of January, me and my team. But yeah, I want to know your opinion. Also, let me know in the comments, what is your current opinion on the state of the TCG? Are you still unhappy, which I can also understand, or are you also excited? Do you want to maybe start playing the TCG, or are you already playing it? Let me know in the comments. What is your opinion on this matter? Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.